Boom, what up boys and girls, it's your man 50 Grand, it's Scott Stockton. I'm back with another video. Today, I'm going to give you the review of a new flash I've been using, the newer Q200. Let's go. Okay, so why the newer Q200 is special is that it's got that sweet spot of power, the 200 watts. Many years ago, Godox came out with the Godox AD200. And it kind of revolutionized the flash game for photographers and wedding photographers alike because it was essentially the size of a speed light, but 3 times the power. Now, while that is amazing, is that with a speed light, you were never going to be able to shoot out in harsh sun, during the day, high-speed sync, wide open with some primes. But with 200 watts, you can. And for the longest time, Godox was kind of the only ones in that space with the 200 watts and a good size. Until recently, many other companies are starting to put out flashes with similar power, and that's what we're here to talk about today. I have been using the newer Q200 recently on a bunch of shoots, used it at a wedding, took it on some model shoots, etc., and I have put it through its paces. And I like what I'm seeing. I've been using it quite a bit. I'm going to use it on some more videos as well. And I want to tell you guys all the pluses about it and maybe a few things that they could have changed. Okay, so the first plus obviously is that it's 200 watts. Okay, so we have a lot of power. Everybody's happy about that. Something that I want to talk about that I think is really special about this light versus the Godox is the head on this guy. He's got a diffused head right here, which makes for a really nice soft light that comes out without having to have any modifiers. I love that because with the Godox AD200, you can't do that. It's got a Fresnel head, and if anybody knows what a Fresnel head is, it's a very intense light, very focused. It can produce a very harsh light if it doesn't have a modifier on it. It is designed to throw a lot of light out, but it's very focused and can be very harsh without a modifier. And I noticed shooting that with this head here, there is no Fresnel head. It's just a diffused surface on the front. You can shoot a lot without having any modifiers. That was a huge plus for me. That's huge for photographers because I think you're going to find out that this diffused head does an amazing job at producing soft light. Everybody knows the closer that you put your light to your subject, you're going to get even softer light. So with just this one light, I was able to go around and get amazing stuff without having to drag around all my modifiers, and that was a plus for me. So what I'm really shocked about with this light that I'm thinking about it is I noticed that it doesn't have a Fresnel head, which is like a Fresnel glass is the same stuff that they use in a lighthouse. So it takes whatever light is there and really throws it. It's very directional. Like this doesn't have that, so I guess that's why like when you use it just natural with that matte right there, that it's just soft. I like one hand on a hip. I mean, you just wanting to do what you're wanting to do, and then if you took that, do what you just did, and if you took your right hand, just brush some hair back. So yeah, just like that. So I'll have you look in here for one. This is the natural light shot. All right, and now just look kind of in the direction of the light with your chin up, just like that. 1, 2, 3. Another plus to the Q200 versus the AD200 or any other flashes I have used, you can change the color of the light inside the flash. You don't need to put gels on, you don't need to put CTOs, you don't need to do any of that. Inside here, whether you're doing it from the back of the flash here or you're doing it with the trigger, you can actually change the color, the Kelvin temperature of the light from cold to extremely warm. Now that's nice. Again, I just told you about not having to drag around any modifiers. With the ability to be able to change the color of this guy in flash, that removes you having to drag around a lot of gels as well. So again, this one unit is helping you strip out a lot of other things that you have to take along with you on your shoot. Another thing I like about this guy as well is he has this modeling lamp on here that can get really strong. I know a lot of flashes have just one power on their modeling lamp or like a low, medium, high. This you can crank to the exact powers that you can get on the flash. It's really kind of crazy. Like you can go extremely bright or you can lower it down and go really dim. And you can change the color of that as well. I think where this comes into handy for someone like me, a wedding photographer, is I'm able to use the modeling lamp when I'm shooting things like details, wedding details. If I don't have enough light and I'm really trying to get the ring to pop. I can use it as a front light. I can change the color. I can change the power, the intensity, whatever I want. I've been finding it really useful shooting wedding details, and it's just another little tool in its bag that you have that some of these other flashes like the 8200 don't. I'd love to talk about the ease of use of this guy. The back of the flash itself has a very bright monitor. It's very easy to use, super intuitive. I would say that the menu system here, whether it be on the flash or the trigger, is a lot more intuitive than Godox. The displays of the triggers of the flash versus 8200 and the Godox triggers versus the newer Trigger Pro, it's way brighter for newer. So that's a plus. You know, if you're in bright situations outside, which you're gonna be if you're shooting outside with a strobe light, it's gonna be hard to see sometimes the Godox screens. I've been shooting Godox for a really long time, and I've always had some issues in bright, harsh situations. With them providing brighter screens, both on the trigger and the flash, they do give you a bit more of a benefit than shooting in that Godox ecosystem. The cost for this guy is very comparable, if not the same, depending on where you're looking, as the Godox 8200. So you're paying the same for each. The build is great, the displays are great, you know, cost is great, the power is great. Everything about this flash is great. I would say the biggest plus for me is the ability to be able to go out without having to drag around modifiers because of this diffused head here, and go shoot without dragging a lot of stuff. That's a big perk for me. But we do have to talk about some of the drawbacks. Okay, so while I just bigged up the trigger for the newer, bright screen, easy to use, super nice trigger, you can only control the Q200 with a newer trigger. And right here I have the newer Pro trigger. With Godox, this trigger, this is just the X2T. I've been able to use many different other flashes from this trigger other than Godox flashes. There's tons of other brands that you can control with this guy right here. Sadly, that's not the case with the Q200. If you want to buy that, you will have to purchase this newer trigger in order to fire that bad boy off-camera flash. Okay, I would say another difference between obviously the Godox system, the 8200s, versus the Q200 is the size of them and versus using modifiers. So, you know, the Godox is very rectangular, where this is rounded. Q200 is a little bit beefier. I'm a MagMod ambassador, so I use a lot of MagMod modifiers. Got spheres, got grids, softboxes, all these different things. And they fit perfectly on the size of an 8200. It's almost like they were just made perfectly for 8200s and speed lights. And so I'm in a huge ecosystem with MagMod. So all of my modifiers and everything has been invested in MagMod and their modifiers, and they don't fit the Q200. I tried many times on a shoot the other day, pulling this around that big round head of it, slapping other modifiers and things like that. It just wouldn't support the weight of the flash, or they just overall wouldn't fit. Now, there are workarounds for that. You have modifiers that like ProPhoto has that have the round circular magnetic modifiers that you can slap on the front. They have the domes, they have grids and things like that that fit perfectly, and you can use that, and that's great. So there are options for you to use for modifiers with this flash if you want to use them. But honestly, for me, I think it comes down to like what ecosystem you're already in. If you're a photographer that has already been shooting with speed lights and 8200s and things like that, and you have MagMod equipment, you're probably going to look at the Q200 and realize that you can't use stuff that you already have, and you might want to swerve that for that reason. But if you're coming from like a ProPhoto kind of environment, ecosystem, where you already have rounded spheres, domes, and grids and things like that that are magnetic that you can slap on, then you might go with the Q200 over the Godox system. I will be staying with Godox and rocking with these flashes, but I will be using the newer Q200 as well, because I do like the fact that I can go out and shoot without having to drag around a lot of modifiers. That is nice. It makes shooting fun. You can just kind of run out and run and gun and have a blast. So all in all, the newer Q200 is an amazing flash. Super power, great build. Performs wonderfully, has things that the Godox 8200 and other flashes don't, with the ability of the modeling lamp to really crank up its power or get really low to help shooting details. Also love the fact that you can change the color in flash without having to drag around gels, and love that we have a diffused front head there so that you don't have to put all sorts of modifiers and things like that on. So there are big pluses there. The big drawback, I think, for me is just the size. For me, it doesn't work with my MagMod modifiers, and I'm really entrenched in that ecosystem. So that being said, amazing flash. I do recommend you get it, especially if you're in an ecosystem that has the like Profoto style modifiers, or if you're brand new into flash and you're just getting straight into it and you don't have pre-owned modifiers and things like that. It's a perfect option. Amazing flash. Newer Q200. Hope you like the review. Hope you like what you heard. It is a great flash. Please like, please subscribe. Please comment down below. Let me know what system you're rocking with. Would you try the Q200? I have links down below so you can click that and try for yourself. Until then, love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Nice to be in orbit.